All right, a very big welcome to you, my awesome viewers and subscribers from all over the world. It is good to have you once again on The Truth with Ben Jokes, your trusted channel for political analysis. Now, I decided to appear like this for this video because I want to address a few issues raised by few viewers. Now, the fact that only few viewers raised these issues does not mean that I will ignore these issues, because on this platform, everybody counts. Now, the first issue raised by these viewers was that my tone of criticism is too harsh. They said I should tone it down, that it is too harsh for them to take. And secondly, few viewers said that I am tending towards one ethnic group or religion. Now, let me address these two issues. First of all, this channel was created to unite Nigerians, not to divide us. And the methodology that I chose to achieve that is to bring news, to bring updates, and show it to us, present it to us in a very direct manner, so that we will be touched and say, no, we need to do things differently. That is the method that I have tried, to explore all these months. Now, as for the first issue, which is the tone of my criticism, I can work on that while retaining the truth. The truth still stands, but we can work on the tone. Then on the second issue, which is tending towards an ethnic group or religion, I would say, God forbid. God forbid that we become the very thing that we criticize. We have been criticizing bigotry, fanaticism on this channel, and God forbid that I tend towards an ethnic group or religion. But if in any way during the course of my presentations, anybody from any ethnic group in Nigeria or religion in this country felt maligned, I sincerely apologize. It was not my intention. My intention is to unite us all so that we can make better political decisions as we move forward. Let's stay united and let's forge ahead for a greater Nigeria. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that update coming out of the coalition ADC. These updates show that sooner or later there will be serious misunderstanding within the coalition. In fact, it might lead to serious chaos within the coalition. And next is that one coming out of Plateau State, another heavy tragedy that stunned Nigerians. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video from one of the biggest political analysts in Nigeria, Majid Dahiru.
First, it is important to state clearly, and for us to set the agenda too, that, you see, Southern presidency for 8 years, for me, sacrosanct, is something that cannot be jeopardized. It's something that must be abided by. And so for any serious opposition that wants to challenge the incumbent, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who is from the South, that such a party, it will be in his own interest to field a Southern candidate. And since an aspirant like Peter Obi has come out to say clearly and in bold relief that I will run for just one time because I also respect zoning. And he didn't just say it, he made a proposition to the coalition he's just joined, the ADC, in that respect. And he has also granted an interview where he was seen in colors, saying, I will run for only one term. And one term is enough for me to reposition the country. I may not achieve everything I want to achieve, but I'm willing to sacrifice my privilege and right in the interest of national unity, because I believe that by 2031, the presidency should be returning for the North. That was quite thoughtful. That was quite ingenious of him. That was quite patriotic, if you ask me, to have stated this clearly. Meaning, I believe I will run, but I'm not unaware of the peculiarity of the power dynamics in Nigeria. So I'm not going to live in denial of that. So I'm stating it often that I want to run, but I will run for only one time if given the opportunity. So I want to put that the ADC, if they are serious about taking power from the president, must. If this story is, I don't know how true this story is, but this is something for them to pick up and read. And this, for me, what you see on the front page of the pilot, somehow is in sync with public perception, public opinion, and the expectation from this party, particularly as it concerns zoning or the presidency. Now, as for Obi as a candidate, Obi again has thrust himself ahead of others. But this last interview over the weekend, which in my consideration was one of his best ever, has lightened up the mood in this country, because in that interview, he was able to go a notch higher in providing some level of philosophical clarity as to how and how he intends to tackle Nigeria's myriad of existential problems. For the first time, Obi said he would first tackle the corruption associated with subsidy to ascertain what exactly Nigeria is paying for in subsidy before taking the next step. This is like a strong shift from his orthodoxy, or the position of orthodoxy of it has to go because subsidy in itself is bad.
You saw that. That was Majid Dahiru there, giving great insight into zoning within the coalition, why it should go to southern Nigeria. But before I expatiate on this zoning issue within the coalition and even in the whole presidential race, let me talk about the part where Majid said it was during Peter Obi's last interview on channels that he gave a different approach towards subsidy removal, where he said Peter Obi promised to probe the subsidy regime before actually removing the subsidy, and that it was the first time Peter Obi spoke about it. It was not actually the first time. As a matter of fact, it was Peter Obi's anthem during the campaigns. He said it many times. I can't even count. He said the subsidy regime needed to be probed. He said like 10 cargoes would land on the sea and only 3 or 4 would have petrol, and Nigeria would pay subsidy on all 10. That all that needed to be sorted out before we talk about removal of fuel subsidy. So I just wanted to clear that. Now onto the issue of zoning within the coalition. You see, a lot of people feel that this whole zoning issue is not necessary. But let me make something clear to you why many Southerners are talking about this issue of zoning. Nigeria is a highly polarized society. This country is very divided. And I'll give you just one typical example. A lady was killed in Sokoto. Her name is Deborah. It's a popular story that most of you know about. This lady was killed because they claimed that she blasphemed. Most people in northern Nigeria agreed with the decision to take that lady's life. They praised those who stoned her to death. Come down to southern Nigeria, most people disagreed with that decision. So you are talking about a people that can disagree sharply. Look at the contrast on the issue of life and death. The contrast is so sharp. So if we are having such sharp contrast on one of the most important issues of our existence on this planet, it means we are a highly divided people. It's a highly polarized society. And that was even why the issue of zoning began in the first place. You go to a place like Benue State, where zoning does not exist. One particular ethnic group has been ruling that state since God knows when. And we have like 3 or 4 major ethnic groups. The Tiv, the Domas, the Igedes, but only the Tivs have been ruling because there's no zoning. So without zoning in the presidency, what you have is a situation whereby Northerners may be ruling this country for the next 30, 40 years. And you know we are a highly polarized state. It wouldn't have meant anything if we were a united people. But we can't lie to ourselves. We are not a united people. We are still trying to work on our differences. So it is really dicey for Nigeria to set aside zoning at this point. I am just giving my own opinion. We are not going to force it on the coalition. Nobody is going to force it on anybody. But this is the truth that has to be said on this matter. There is a reason why the zoning policy was adopted by political parties in Nigeria, and we have not outgrown the dangers that zoning sought to address. That is the whole truth. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that update coming out of the ADC. Interim chairman of the party, David Mark, and some other party chiefs have made it clear that the ADC, the coalition ADC, has no plan to zone their ticket exclusively to southern Nigeria. And next is that update coming out of Plateau State, another heavy tragedy out of north central Nigeria. Let's start by taking that update from Plateau State. Look at how the papers reported it. Bandits ambush, kill over 70 vigilante members in Plateau. Narrating how the attack occurred, Bafa said the team ran into an ambush set up by the bandits who were armed with sophisticated weapons and opened fire on the team, killing over 70 of them on the spot. Wow, this is pathetic. 70 vigilante members ambushed and killed by bandits once again in Plateau State. And whenever we talk about deaths like this, it touches me so much because these are breadwinners. These are people's sons, people's fathers, family members, key members of families taken away just like that. Does it mean that these terrorists will overpower the state? Late head of state General Sani Abacha said if insurgency exceeds 48 hours, he said it means that the government's hand is involved. That was what he said. These are the words of Sani Abacha, not my words. So when we talk and people say that the criticism is too harsh, it bring down the tone, sometimes I wonder how else people expect us to present these cases. How many years is it going to take us to take down these terrorists and bandits, call it whatever? How many years? And that is why many Nigerians are saying we need a change of approach. Therefore, we need a change of government to see the back of insecurity. You cannot fault people for saying that. It's been over 10 years and we are still stuck. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, that update from the ADC began making the rounds. Look at how the papers reported it. The interim national chairman of the newly formed opposition coalition party, the African Democratic Congress ADC, David Mark, has clarified that the party has no preferred presidential aspirant for the 2027 general elections. Mark made this statement on Tuesday while addressing stakeholders of the Kogi chapter of the ADC at a meeting in Abuja. The former Senate president assured Nigerians that under his leadership, the party would operate with complete transparency. The ADC has no preferred or favorite presidential aspirant, but has set out to first put out a platform that would be attractive and acceptable to the majority of Nigerians. We are doing this because we do not want this great ship called Nigeria to sink. Because if we do not rise up now and it sank, all of us will be affected, he said. According to him, all members of the party are equal stakeholders, equal joiners, and equal owners. You heard that. That was the interim chairman of the coalition ADC speaking there. He said the party has no preferred presidential candidate, meaning the ticket has been thrown open. We've had some reports earlier saying that ADC has insisted on southern candidate, but David Mark, who is the interim chairman, coming out to say this now means that that initial report was not correct. The party's ticket has been thrown open. Now, when you throw the party ticket open, it means you don't believe in the principle of zoning. This was the same thing that affected the PDP, because after 8 years of Buhari, southerners within the PDP said it had to be a southern candidate next, but the PDP threw the ticket open and then Atiku grabbed it in that primaries, and that primaries, was what destroyed the PDP. The party has been going downwards ever since they had that primaries. Now, the same thing is about to play out within the coalition, with David Mark saying there is no preferred candidate, there is no preferred region, the ticket will be thrown out, to open to everybody. That's what I understand these statements as. What kind of primaries are you going to have, ADC? Are you going to have a primaries where the contestants, all the aspirants will come out and say what they want to do and how they want to achieve it? Or you are going to have a primaries where people will be lodged in hotels on the eve of the primaries, and then dollars will begin to exchange hands? We all know that when it comes to the issue of paying for votes, you count Peter Obi out. He doesn't believe in paying for votes. So if the ADC is saying that, oh, the ticket is thrown open to everybody, we know that, okay, they are now going to have a primaries. What kind of primaries? Is it primaries where dollars will exchange hands? If that is how it is going to be, then you know what will happen. Peter Obi is going to check out of that place because he can't be there. And the moment he does, the whole world will translate that as an implosion within the party. They'll say that a party that has not even lasted 2 years is already having a serious implosion. So that is what to expect. Everybody who is following this now should expect this. And again, I am not forcing this on anybody. Before you say that I'm using a kind of tone. No, I am just giving my own political opinion the way I know it to be true. The North had 8 years under Buhari, and Tinubu has had 4 years. The other 4 years left should go to southern Nigeria. And then former national vice chairman of the APC, Salihu Lukman, who is now a member of the coalition, also said this: "We are ready to support Obi, Atiku, or anyone who emerges as the presidential candidate of the coalition party," says ADC member Salihu Lukman. This is also a proof that the party ticket is being thrown open, and open primaries. And knowing these politicians, it is extremely difficult to predict that things will end well. But we'll keep our fingers crossed and we'll see how events unfold. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because now because of una I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.